Good morning, y'all. It is like 4:30 in the morning. Your girl is on her way to Philadelphia. I am in this airport. I'll see y'all in a few minutes. Hey y'all, your girl is in Philly. I finally made it. Y'all, look at this. Look at this. You see the horse and carriage? Y'all, I love horse and carriages. I want to get on it so bad, but the people are already on it, so I can't get on it. I'm currently finna get on this big bus tour. I got my ticket in my hand, my mask, and just walking to get on this bus, y'all. I have been up since 4 o'clock. Got to my hotel and it was no rooms available, so I had to wait till 3 o'clock. So I said, you know what? Let's go to the city today, y'all. So I'm touring the city and we're gonna get to see Philly in a day on this tour bus, y'all. So I'm gonna take y'all along with me. If y'all are on my channel, like, comment, and subscribe, and let's go. So you can get on either one of these. You can get on this one with the tour guide, or I can get on the big bus one. So the next one is going on right now. All right, y'all, so I'm on the tour bus, and this is what I'm looking at around me. I don't know if y'all can see everything. This is the front of the tour bus. These buildings are so high. Look at these cars. I feel like I was so high. So y'all, found that this is my first time ever being on a tour bus. So I'm gonna enjoy my little sightseeing thing, y'all. I gotta figure out how to fold up my jacket in my bag though, because why I got my jacket on, I don't know, and it's kind of hot out here. You see the sun beaming, the sun is beaming, y'all.
It's like give or take like an hour and a half depending on like traffic, and we end up back here at the end of the tour. If it's your first time on the bus today, I always recommend taking your first tour all the way around, seeing all the sites, learning a little bit about what we offer, and then using like the rest of the day to hop on, hop off. It's still pretty early in the day. We have buses going every 15 minutes. The last one leaves our stop 1 at 5 p.m. from here and gets back at 6:30. So you have until then to travel across the city. In terms of like how the bus goes, like I said, we're running every 15. You get off somewhere, 15 minutes later, another bus will be there to pick you up. Your ticket is good for this big red bus or a big brown bus that says big bus. You're partnered with that company, so if you see it going past and you want to get on it, you can. Just like give them a little wave at whatever stop you're at, so that they can pick you up too. If you do that, make sure that you get their brochure, because our stops are a little bit different. And then also stop number 2 is like cut off they're digging up something by the road there. Everything else we're able to see, but stop number 2 is not. Yeah? It's open. Kidding. So you can get a stop number 2. So that is Betsy Ross's house where we're at. So it should be open for them the rest of the day too if you get on other buses. Like I said, get their brochure. Other than that, of course, they seated the entire tour. If you want to get off at a stop, I will call them as I go. If you want to get off, just raise your hand. I'll tell Miss Adams, she'll stop the bus and you get off there. Otherwise, like I said, if it's your first time, I suggest going all the way around. And lastly, you're on a double-decker bus. So if I tell you to duck, I would suggest ducking. The branches and the trees are up here with us. I will say the buses range in size. If you've already been on one today, this is like the highest one. So just be aware of that. If you didn't have to duck on the other ones, you will have to duck here. I will warn you when you get to places that are extra branchy, so you know. Otherwise, just be aware of that. And if you are a big like camera person, you want to take like a lot of pictures, I definitely suggest just keeping your phone or camera like nearby. Because you know we're moving. Miss Adams does her best to stop in front of like the big stuff, especially give you a second to take a picture. But as you know, it's a moving bus. People don't like when we stop in the middle of the road. They'll start beeping and yelling at us. So keep your phone nearby. Otherwise, a little bit of history just about Pennsylvania, William Penn, all of that. So, King Charles II of England, he owed William Penn's father, whose name was also William Penn, a lot of money. Instead of actually giving him that money, he gave him a plot of land. He gave him Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania translates to Penn's Woods. Philadelphia is the city of brotherly love, of course. It's 2022, so I always say sisterly affection as well, just for the limit. William Penn, if you don't know, was a Quaker. I'll explain a little bit more relevant about that later. But the block you are on right now is called Race Street. So it's called Race Street because in the 1800s, this whole block was known for horse racing. Before it was called Race Street, it was called Sassafras Street. Sassafras, obviously a funny word, but if you don't know, sassafras is a root. It is the root most commonly found in root beer, and Philadelphia was the first commercial place to produce root beer, which I feel like we're not known for. I didn't even know that until last year. I've lived here for forever, but now you know. So coming up on this block on your right side, you're going to see the original street side. It's going to be a tan rectangle that says Sassafras Street, right above the dry cleaning sign on the corner. I'll always point to everything too if you can't see it, because sometimes descriptions are not best. But it's this sign right here that I'm pointing to. It says Sassafras Street right there. To your right, Sassafras Market was one of the first places you could get a root beer at. Watch out on your right. Watch out, 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 watch out. Whoa. Watch out again on your right. Duck here. Duck, 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 duck. Okay, now look to your right at this green and yellow writing that says Patty's. If you are familiar with the show It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, it's based off of this pub Patty's right here to your right. Watch out as we go through here. Watch out here. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Okay. You're in the clear for a few blocks. So, straight ahead of you is the Benjamin Franklin Bridge. The Benjamin Franklin Bridge connects us to New Jersey. Don't have too much to say about it. If you're from New Jersey, you probably have more to say than I do. But we have a little waterfront area too that will pass by the Penn's Landing area, where you can take a ferry also from our side of the water to their side. It's like South Jersey, so like Camden is exactly where you're getting dropped off at. But you'll get a much better picture of that later as we go through Penn's Landing, just in case you want some good pictures. Everything you want to see on this block is going to be on your left, starting with these two big red doors right here. This is the Firemen's Hall Museum. So Benjamin Franklin started the first volunteer firefighter company in 1736. This is, like I said, Firemen's Hall Museum. They have free tours here. They'll tell you all about who is Benjamin Franklin, the first fire unit in the Philadelphia firefighter company. Then look again to your left where it says one way. Look all the way down this itty bitty cute little street. So, out there so you can see. This is Elfrith's Alley. So Elfrith's Alley is the longest continuously lived in streets in the world. There are places dating back there. Everything was built either in the 1720s to the 1830s. So all of that is like certified historic housing. And like I said, it's longest continuously lived in because people have been living there from the 1700s and they still live there today in 2022. I'm sure they will still continue to live there. If you could imagine for historical significant reasons. It is super expensive to live on Elfrith's Alley because, like I said, of the historical significance, but people who live there with pride. They love being there. I would definitely recommend going down the block. The architecture is very cool. The houses are like super colorful, very cute little places to look at, especially in comparison to like the architecture of like the apartments today. Completely different. So coming up here on your right is going to be stop number 2 for Betsy Ross's house. Do I have anyone getting off there? Yes? All right. Miss Adams, I have people getting off for Betsy Ross. If you do not know who Betsy Ross is, she is the lady who was credited with sewing the first ever American flag with the 13 stars and 13 stripes you see right on top of this house here. And this is Miss Spot. So as for Betsy Ross, his house here, they have a little like gift shop. They have some ladies, depending on what day, that dress up as ladies of the 1700s. And we'll tell you about kind of her life, what she did to support her family, all that good stuff. Very important stairs. Imagine Eye of the Tiger saying, those are the 72 stairs. Rocky famously went up in the movie, having this whole moment, sweating, going through it. You can too have those moments. People make a production out of running up these stairs. I've seen music videos. There's been a lot going on. Backflips down the stairs. So I did backflips. You can do it all. It's truly a time. But we are going to pull up and let you guys off. You see his little hands behind the trees. He has his boxing gloves on, both hands up in the air. Hat is over here as well. But, what is that? You can check all that out if you guys are getting off here. It's another very large bus in our spot. I'm sure we'll just go up in front of it. Alright. So, as we go here, back on the way, if you look over here to your left, you see this statue. On top is George Washington on a horse. That's called Egan's Oval. So, I want you to note that his horse's hoof is up right there. I will explain the relevance of that in a second, which is, you see it. Straight ahead of you first, I want you to see these two very tall buildings like ahead of you. The one on your left side is supposed to be shaped like a USB flash drive, and the one on your right is supposed to be shaped like a phone jack. And those are the Comcast buildings, also the tallest buildings in the city. Very cute little, you know, design. But the situation with the George Washington horse. So, like I said, Egan's Oval. The placement of the horse's hooves can tell you about what happened to the person on top. Watch out also as you go farther down here, on your right side specifically. Watch out for the benches and the trees. Watch out, left side too. Watch out, watch out, watch out. As we go down, we got like 2 blocks of branches. If you were just with us, we came up the parkway earlier. You were ducking over there, so other side, same situation. Watch out on your right side, please. Okay. So, the situation with Egan's Oval here is that if a horse has one hoof raised, it means that that person received some kind of injury in battle and then later died because of that injury. If a horse has 2 hooves raised, it means that that person died directly in battle. And if a horse has 4 hooves on the ground, that person did die too, but unrelated to like battle things. They died from something else. So, as you saw with the George Washington situation, his horse hoof is lifted. As you also know, I'm sure historically, he did not die in battle. So what had happened was that statue used to be someone else. His name was like Jock or John or something. And that area, if you can't tell, if you were coming straight down on that lane, you notice it goes directly to City Hall. And as you also know, the Rocky Steps is there, the Philadelphia Museum of Art. It's a very kind of like big area, especially for like tourists and visiting all that. So they were like, it probably shouldn't be this random guy that no one knows. It should be George Washington. So they were like, great, we'll change the statue. But they waited so late to change the statue that all they had time for was to cut off the other guy's head and put on George Washington's head. So neck down, nothing to do with George Washington. It's that random man. But they will lie to you today because no one ever fixed it over all these years. There. But the this building right here on your right side, this like big tall blue building, sorry, like straight ahead of you, then on your right. See this very tall building with a needlepoint top and has like blue mirroring panels. That is One Liberty Place. So One Liberty Place, I want to say back in the day, it was like a couple months ago. It used to be known as the observation deck, because on the 58th floor there's an observation deck. But they ended up canceling it, which made me very sad for you all. But in the Comcast building, so it's really tall buildings I point out that are shaped like funny. The one shaped like a phone jack, you can go up in that one. They have a see-through elevator. You can go all the way up to the 60th floor. There's actually a restaurant on the 60th floor. It's called like Chops Kitchen, something. Chops. You'll find it. There's nothing else going on in that building but the thing at the very tip top. One Liberty Place over here to your right, they still have like a food court and like some shopping on the bottom floors there, but it doesn't go past, I think, like the 3rd floor. But when we get to the top of this block, once we pass these 3 American flags, I would recommend turning your phone horizontally. You can grab a great picture of City Hall. You'll actually be able to see all of it from the left side all the way to the right side. It is an extremely wide building. So if you turn your phone horizontally, like so, Pennsylvania Hospital was opened in 1751 by Benjamin Franklin and a guy named Dr. Thomas Bond. So the idea behind Pennsylvania Hospital was the relief of the sick poor. If you like could not afford like services and or you needed like free or like cheaper ones, that was kind of like the intent behind it. What they did offer, rumor has it, was a free surgery on Saturdays, Saturday mornings in particular. Get there early, could be your lucky day. People could pay 1 cent to watch you get your surgery done, because there's always someone who's going to want to do that. And obviously 1 cent costs a lot more than it did today, but it's 1751, there's no anesthesia. How are you going out for your surgery? Your options are just not good across the board, but you have 2 main options. Number 1, you can drink whiskey until you pass out. Number 2, you can get hit in the head with a rock or a bottle until you pass out, like glass bottle or rock. Horrible. And you would say, I think at least, I'm imagining you would say, I'll just drink the whiskey. But for religious reasons and personal preferences, a lot of people did not agree with the idea of the excessive use of drugs and alcohol, so more people than you think would just go for the knockout. Brain damage was swarming the 1800s, is all I have to say. Look to your right through the light. This is Mother Bethel AME Church, part of the African American Methodist churches, and this church was actually founded by a former slave. His name was Richard Allen. They still have like open services on Saturdays and Sundays. But back to the Pennsylvania hospital situation. If you are interested in the medical history, I definitely recommend searching it up, because I believe it was trial and error over there. They were just over there with the Iron Memorial. I haven't seen all the memorial. It was kind of like outside. You're gonna take a left and then look down and to your right. You're gonna see some people roller skating. This was the other rink I was talking about. This whole area is Penn's Landing. That's my gremlin activities, but I would really say at night, it really is a fun time. It's much cooler, all the lights are out, it's pretty lively, like people come out, they're skating, all that good stuff. And then you can obviously play for the games and all that. That float you see going around, that is the ferry. That takes you to the other side of the water. But in terms of this area for roller skating, so it's usually kind of a popular thing people end up doing. It is $15 for the skates and to roller skate for like an hour. If you have a building, outside is a statue of George Washington. Fun fact, I say interesting fact about this building, when Abraham Lincoln was assassinated, his body was actually brought over to Independence Hall. It stayed here for like 48 hours, and in those 48 hours, 100,000 people came to see his body here. So if you can imagine, a wide variety of people have been in and out of this building. They do pretty good day tours. The guards will give like a pretty informative historic tour. I'm giving you like a quick wash down, but they will definitely, if you're interested in more about that, I will sign up for one. Otherwise, like I said, we're
Excuse me, sorry, thank you. Whoa. There's a bunch of people in here. Alright, y'all, so we gotta find cheesecake and Philly cheese while we in here. What is this? Oh my god. So much to look at. Oh, I think I found cheesecake. Cheesecake. Right here. Got the cheesecake. Now, it looks like might have found the cheesecake. Y'all, look at these people. Lord have mercy. People everywhere. Anytime you see a bunch of people somewhere, that means wherever it's at, that's where the food's good at. Let me see. I don't know. When there's a line, how do you get to it? Now look at this marketplace. Oh, it's neat. This is like a whole market for real. Super cute. Super cool. Right now. It's everything here. Oh, they got the turkey necks. Ooh, oh, turkey breast. Oh, I'm sorry. That's okay. This stuff's everywhere. So much to see. There's meat hanging in this thing. Alright, so we gotta find a steak sandwich from somewhere. I think I'm gonna go back where I see everybody else. We got fresh fruits and stuff and vegetables over here, y'all. Look. Get into the marketplace. Wow. We got fresh nuts and berries and stuff in here. I think I'm gonna try this cheesecake. I don't know. Is it a spot we order from here? Or what? For this cheesesteak.